Alright, so what is up guys, it's Zero here. Today we have the start of the set 12 deck profiles, and we are starting with everybody's favorite, probably the most hyped deck of the set, Revenger. So just before we start, I'm just gonna get this out of the way first. There'll probably be a little less videos going on. I am grinding for top 10 right now on the current season. If you want to watch that, I do stream a bit of it on my Twitch, link down below in the description, so if you're interested, come check me out. But that aside, we will get on with the deck profile. So this is the list that I've been playing. This is a list I've also been grinding with a lot, and like I said, this list is very strong. The deck is honestly probably the new best deck in the game, overtaking Eradicators. So we'll just get on with why I play the cards and why I play them at the amount that I do. So start the starter. So I played the Creeping Dark Goat over the Colossus. I do think Goat is the better starter, just because when the deck gets to ride Mordred first, as opposed to when it doesn't get to ride Mordred first, is a pretty substantial difference in how well the deck flows. Because Mordred just getting you a free, most of the time being Blasted Art, sometimes Dorian Bear Blasted Art in, is very, very strong. Like, riding Raging Form isn't the worst thing in the world, because he just still has the when attacking a Vanguard plus 3k skill, like the quote unquote waterfall skill. So you can't still scale with it, but the free card off the Mordred is just way too good to pass up. So if you can, so this is basically just to ensure the Mordred ride, and if you already have the Mordred ride, it can help you dig for stuff like more Raging Forms, basically just that, more Raging Forms. For one to break ride and then one to Persona ride later on. So yeah, that's why I play the Goat. I will say though, the Goat is a little awkward sometimes just because it's 4k, meaning it doesn't scale particularly well with anything. And the fact that it's not Revengerness, so you can't just sack it off. So if you do want to just sack, quote unquote, this card off, you would need to CV1 to dig for any grade 3 and then put that down to sack off. It's a little awkward, but I think the added consistency of the Goat letting you ride Mordred first more often is worth it, especially over the Colossus. Colossus isn't terrible per se, but I definitely do think the Goat is better. Alright, next we have the PGs. I'll start with the PGs first. This is the Revenger Maclear. So he's the new style of PGs where you don't get held at 3 by crit. This Revenger name actually matters because sometimes you have to slam them down to stack for cost, stuff like that. So yeah, you do play the new ones. If you, for whatever reason, feel uncomfortable playing the new ones and want to play the old ones, you could, but you might run into some name problems if you need to slam down a PG for cost for a Raging Form. So yeah, 4 PGs, nothing too off there. Next, probably one of the best cards in the deck, the Dorant. So his skill is, your guard, when your Blaster Dark Revenger is placed in the same column as this card, you countercharge 1. So what makes this card so good is that it basically turns Blaster Dark's CB2 pop anything into a CB1 pop anything, which is super, super strong. You just snipe whatever you want with this. If you've played in this meta, you play the Mirror, Dorant is the first thing that gets popped them all a lot of the time, and if they're not going for game. This card is just too good right now. So yeah, so no reason not to play it at 4. And next we have the grade 1 Masquerade, so he's the Revenger 10k beater, so front row rear guard, if your Vanguard's Revenger plus 3k. All your grade 3s are Revengers, so this thing's always a 10k beater. It's nice, it can let you aggro early. 10k attacker by itself is pretty nice too, in case you just don't have interest for whatever reason. But yeah. Last 2 slots are the Dark Bond Trumpeters. So his skill, or her skill is Vanguard Rear. I don't know why it's Vanguard. It'll never actually work on Vanguard because you can't blast for it unless you rewrite for whatever reason. So it's on play, CB1, and then you call a copy of the, I think it's like the heal, crit, draw, or stand trigger. Because obviously in 0 there's no grid 0s in the game. So you just create one out of thin air and call it as rest somewhere. Yeah, this card is basically just CB1 create fodder. It's not amazing. It's there. It's not amazing, but you play it because it does come up where you need to CB1 to sack for cost. Yeah, this card's nice. I wouldn't play it in more than 2 though. Although there's definitely lists floating around that just basically the grade 1 slots is just the ratios of how you play these cards. I've played around with 3 Dark Bonds, 2 Masquerades, and then this obviously. I also played around with 4 Masquerades, 1 Dark Bond. I think 3 Masquerade, 2 Dark Bonds. This is about right, because you don't really need to see this card all the time, and you can always tutor for it, so yeah. And that's why I have it at 3 and 2. Alright, next up, for the grade 2s, we'll start off with everybody's favorite, Blaster Dark Revenger. So So yeah, this is the right word art. Looks pretty nice. SP looks kind of meh to be honest, but that's besides the point. His skill is on play if your Vanguard or the Revenger. So again, checking for Revenger name. CB2 to pop anything. And like I said before, the Dorant, because of Dorant's countercharging, if you play him in the same column as the Dorant, he is basically ready CB1 pop anything. Yeah, very efficient spot removal. So yeah, like this card is super strong because of Dorant. If Dorant is this, Blaster Dark would probably be a lot worse. But because everything in the deck is super free, this card is super stupid specifically with Dorant. Yeah, it is a carbon copy of the Blaster Blade Liberator. So you know the Blaster Blade is kind of whatever because the deck's super tight on counter so you don't have a counter charger. This deck Dorant fixes that problem, so Blaster Dark becomes super strong. Next off, we have the Tar2. Her skill, Vanguard Rear. Vanguard this time actually does matter. A lot of time you will ride her and just call like the 3-1 Masquerade behind her, but get the skill first. So on place, Vanguard Rear, if your Vanguard is a Revenger, CV1 to call a grade 1 Revenger from your deck in the same column as this card. So basically how this works, what you basically do with this card is, if you don't specifically need sack fodder, if you need sack fodder, you'll call the Dark Bond. If you ride her, you'll call the Masquerade. It seems counterintuitive, but you just want, because you want to save all your Dorants for the rear guard, your side columns instead of behind the Vanguard. So you call this just a 7k booster because 8 of your grade 3s have the, I guess all of them do, but this is the 10k. But like, they all have the one attacking Vanguard plus 3k skill, so 14 plus 7 is 21, 21k is matching number, so yeah. But what you do, you ride her, you call the Masquerade, and then you can aggro turn 2 if you want to, or you just call it, swing, and then now you have a scaled Vanguard lane for the entire game. So yeah, Tar2 is super good. If I remember correctly, she was CB2 IRL. Obviously, it's a lot worse. In this case, she's CB1. That makes her absolutely busted, because this card basically means you have 8 copies of Dorant, and Dorant is obviously a super strong card. So yeah. Very good. I wouldn't play less than 4. Next, we have the Grade 2 Masquerade. He also sees the 12k attack for Revengers. Nothing special, he's just a 12k attacker. He can scale your 7k boosters for turn 2 for 19k. Yeah, nothing much to say, he's just a 12k attacker. Next we have the Nemain. So, one thing to say, she is not Revenger named, that does matter. It does come up every once in a while for stacking purposes, but a lot of time you're stacking your back row off anyway, so it doesn't matter too much if she's not Revenger named. Sometimes it does matter, but most of the time it doesn't. Yeah. Most people should know what she does by now. Rear guard circle, on place, CB1 to ditch a card and draw 2. Cheap, efficient, +1, very good. Cycle through your deck and draw you stuff. Obviously, you can draw triggers and stuff, but I think it is worth playing her because she is such a powerful card. I will say the ratios. Most lists usually choose to run 3 Masquerade 2 Nemains, but I personally think that the main draw is like super strong. That I wanted more copies of her. 4 is a little overkill, so I went with 3. Like I found that 4 was overkill and 2 wasn't enough, so I played 3 copies. Obviously, you can bump this down if you don't want to play this many copies of her for Masquerades or Rugoses. And yeah, that's basically I played 3 Nemains because I super value the ability to draw through your deck with her skill. Yeah. Next, the grade 3s, the ever so important Mordred Phantom. So he is the Break Ride for the deck. So his skill is Break Ride, 10. Give your Vanguard 10k, and then call any grade 2 or lower card from your deck and give it 5k. So this is completely free. You ride, you get a free card. Most of the time, if you're going for a game, you usually call like Blaster Dark, but sometimes if you have to just try to stall for it, sometimes you call like in the main to try to draw your PGs, or call Dorants if you already have Blaster Darks in hand. But yeah, 5k just lets you scale super well because if you, let's say you already have a Dorant on the board, you call the Blaster Dark, you pop something, you countercharge, now you have a 21k lane. And 21k, again, is matching numbers, so yeah. Very good card. Very good card. The fact that it's free makes it even better. And then the Waterfall skill, I like to call it, when attacking a Vanguard plus 3k. So 14k, again, lets you scale your Vanguard lane super well. Very good card. This card is probably the best card in the deck. Arguably speaking, because he just lets the entire deck flow super well. And when you play the game, you will notice a substantial difference when you get to ride Mordred first and you don't get to ride Mordred first. The games where you're on Mordred first, you are much more likely to win than if you have to ride like Diamond or Raging Form. Yeah, super solid card, probably the best card in the deck. The fact that it's free in this game is even better than it was IRL. So yeah, very good card. Next, we have the finisher of the deck, Raging Form Dragon. So his skill is Limerick 4 at the end of the battle that attacked. Or actually no, on attack he gains the skill. So you can't heal out of the skill. That is actually important because before Duke got its buff, you could heal out of your Element Break, but this is different because so it's just Limerick 4 on attack you gain the skill. So if you heal out, you won't lose the ability to rewrite. And yeah, so his skill is Limerick 4. On attack, you gain the skill. At the end of the battle that it attacked, sack off 3 Revenger rearguards. So you specifically have to sack Revenger, so you cannot sack the main or goat. So then, what you do after you sack 3 is ride a copy of Raging Form in your hand. So another copy of itself. Draw 2, and then the new Raging Form gets plus 10k. So the new Raging Form, you rewrite, it becomes 21. You draw 2 because you don't get drive checks in this game. Your drive checks don't go to your hand, so this to make up for it. And then you get 10k, so now you are 24 if you're attacking Vanguards. So it just scales super well. It's basically a restanding Vanguard. The only complaint I have with this is that the trigger power you get from your first 2 drive checks before the rewrite is more than likely going to waste unless you end up sacking a front row off instead. Because if you sack off a front, because you could sack off a front row instead to keep your Vanguard booster and give all the power there. Most of the time you don't do that just because you want that'll intercept in the front. But if you're just going for game, then yeah, you don't boost, you keep the Vanguard booster behind the Vanguard, and you give all power there, so your rewrite can for more power. So yeah, that's the only complaint I have with the card. If it was restand, it'd be a lot better, but what can you do? And then next, his other skill is also sack off 3 Revenger rearguards to create a copy of Raging Form and add it to your hand. So this was not in the original Raging Form in the IRL game. This comes in clutch every once in a while. Sack 3 is super expensive. You don't want to have to use it, but sometimes you need to do it to go for game, and this is a way to secure the Raging Form in your hand. The skill is honestly super underrated. The skill is super good. You have access to another copy but whenever you want, because this deck just gets cards for free super easily, so this cost is honestly like not as expensive as you would think it would be. And then he also has the plus 3k when attacking Vanguard, so he is a 14k attacker solo. If you do the rewrite, 24, so you basically just on your rewrite on your guild, this just ignores MLB's 12k base and cross ride bases. So yeah, very nice to have. Let you scale early too. Super solid card. Our heal trigger of choice is the the triggers are 9 draw, and then our heal trigger of choice is the Dearman. So his skill is Lemon Brick 4, sack off 1 Revenger rear to give himself 5k and a crit, and then he has the Waterfall Clause as well. Honestly, if this card wasn't a 10k base, this card would be a whole lot better. Because if this card was not a 10k base, you could all your Vanguards would be 11k, being able to scale with the Waterfall Clause with a 7k booster. So you just no matter what you ride, you'd be hitting for a 21 call, which is super good. And scaling is always nice, and the 5k crit is also super good. Yeah, you play him on heal because he is the worst card in your deck that you would play at 4-0, in my opinion at least. Because there are definitely lists floating around that run the Deathmaster with the 4 appeal instead, but I think the Zero Man's crit is just nice to have. Because now your deck has access to Retire, Restanding Vanguard, and crit. So this deck just has everything. But yeah, so that's why you play him at 4 over the Deathmaster. I wish it was 11k base, 10k base does hurt sometimes, but yeah. What can you do? You play it because the crit is nice. Next we have the Deathmaster. He's just a 1-of. He's basically just played for name, but his skill is Limb Brick 4. Sack off any rearguard, because he doesn't specify Revenger, and plus 10k. Sack for 10k, he can let you scale to be over 6 damage heal. That's basically all he's there for, but he's pretty much just for name. 11k beater is not the worst thing in the world, I guess. So yeah, that's why you play him at 1-of. That's why he's just a 1-of instead of 0 moon. But yeah, this is the list. I have some replacements off to the side, as you clearly see. You've probably seen them by now. Honestly, I have them there, but I wouldn't really recommend changing too much. At most, you might change the Masquerade and the main ratios around. Maybe play some Black Dark Spirits, maybe play some Rugoses. But I think the Grade 1 line is perfect as is. And the Grade 3 line is like, you can change like the 1 up to like some random tech if you want, but I think this is honestly the optimal, very close to optimal, give or take the ratio. But yeah, this is the deck profile. If you like what you saw, like, subscribe, all the good stuffs. Next I'll have some games for you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.